Tonight, we are holding our Contractor Workforce Development Excellence Awards.
A number of contractors will be here. They've been nominated by their plants, their owners, the places where they do work, for their efforts around workforce development, training their workforce. And so it's always a great event when the Gabria groups come together, and I think tonight will be one as well.
So this event here is to recognize those companies that have really put forth the effort to develop their craft workforce. And we're talking about contractors who work for our organizations. And we're looking at skilled crafts such as electrical, metering and instruments, welders, pipe fitters, these types of crafts.
What exactly is contractor workforce development?
Well, our members are encouraging contractors to invest in training, in attraction, in retention, and helping the workforce to get better skills, because better skills translates to better productivity, better safety, and a win-win for everybody involved. One of the key things that we're trying to promote is that in skilled crafts there is a real career path, and that the credentials that they can earn are stackable. So if you get a certification 1 year, you can then get a 2-year degree, which can be stacked on top of a 4-year degree. And so it's a really great career path.
What type of things are you recognizing them for?
Okay, so what are they doing in terms of recruitment? What are they doing in terms of skills development? What are they doing in terms of career paths for their employees, so that the workforce continues to grow and get more skillful, as opposed to moving all over the country and leaving us behind?
And why is that important to the people of Louisiana?
Well, moving up is a big deal. These jobs are middle-class jobs, and we want those jobs to go to people in Louisiana.
Okay. And what types of things are the companies doing to promote recruitment and all of that?
Well, you got a whole lot of different contractors here tonight, and they all have different aspects of what they're doing. And we're just trying to, as Gabria, as an organization of owners, is trying to support their efforts in what they do best.
Excellence for us means that the company is investing resources and time in attraction, which means like going out to high schools, doing job fairs, etc., training, helping their employees to get trained or do upgrade training, and then doing additional things to explain to employees what their career path options are, and doing things that help to retain the workforce in the industry.
Tell me, what are the current trends in the workforce area?
Well, there's a lot going on from that perspective, particularly when you look at the state of Louisiana. With all of the work that's been announced, some $60 billion to $80 billion, depending on what you read, and in new investment coming to Louisiana. What we know is that above our baseline of about 100,000 craft professionals that we have in the state, that's welders and pipe fitters and electricians and millwrights, that we're probably going to need an additional 35,000 full-time equivalents. But because of retention and attrition issues within the construction industry, we think we'll probably have to recruit somewhere between 80 and 86,000 new workers to meet that demand. So that's a lot of what I'm going to be talking about during the event.
Okay, what are some of the ways that businesses can recruit these workers that they need?
Well, there's a whole lot going on. There is a whole subcommittee within the state. It's a public-private partnership that's working on this issue, and there's a subcommittee focused specifically on recruiting. We are the first state in the United States to adopt what is the NCCER, that's the National Center for Construction Education and Research. They have developed a recruiting and career awareness campaign called Build Your Future. And Louisiana is the first state to adopt that Build Your Future program. And it's videos, it's a lot of different materials, billboards, radio ads, television ads. So you'll see probably first part of next year a lot of this information rolling out. And it's really to try to change the image of what the construction crafts are all about, and to relay the message that these are really good careers.
Okay, what are some of the things that landed these organizations on the list of promoting excellence?
Well, each organization, each company who belongs to our organization is requested to nominate a company who they feel is working toward improving their craft workforce development. So the companies that were part of our GRBRIA organization will nominate, and then what we'll do is we'll go out as a committee. We go out and we actually interview these companies, and they fill out a questionnaire. And then based on how they respond, then we select ranking based on different types of companies and size of the companies, how many employees they employ, and the different types of functions that they have at their contractor does.
Okay, why is craft workforce development so important, especially to the state of Louisiana?
Well, historically, the chemical industry has always been a big part of our state's history here and employment here. However, in the recent history with onset of fracking and availability of natural gas and the derivative products from natural gas, we've had this renaissance of expansion in Louisiana, and we're right now in the midst of that. And tonight you'll hear about how many new skilled craft jobs are going to be required for this construction phase. And I'm not certain exactly how many, what's the total expansion that's going to be going on, but it's anywhere from, they saying, $50 to $80 billion of expansion in Louisiana, and companies are still looking at expanding here on site. And in order to meet these expansions, you need to have a lot of skilled craft. These are great jobs, and we've been trying to reach out to the public as well as to our governmental agencies to make everyone recognize we have this availability, and we need to get these jobs filled within our state.
I'd like to welcome you to our 7th annual Craft Workforce Development Excellence Awards banquet. I'd like to thank each of you for your attendance today, your participation in this program, and your efforts in workforce development and the improvement of our workforce. The benefits of training and education are many and are documented by the Construction Industry Institute and others. Plants today are looking for qualified contractors, and a trained and certified workforce is the key to being qualified. This banquet is a tribute to all of you who invest in workforce development activities, which include recruitment, assessment, training, career path development, and retention of employees in our industries. Our theme this evening is "The Future is Now." The theme focuses on the epic efforts that many people in industry, education, and government have been working on to meet the challenge of building a host of newly announced industrial plants in Louisiana with Louisianans. Many new tools and programs have been implemented under an unprecedented industry, government, education partnership since 2012, when the seeds were planted. Through careful cultivation and growth, we're now reaping the reward in the form of thousands of new graduates from skilled craft training programs. And truly, ladies and gentlemen, the future is now.
The purpose of Craft Workforce Development Excellence Awards is to recognize workforce development performance of our individual companies and conveying GRBRIA's strong support for craft workforce development, and acknowledge that our contractors are an extension of our own workforce. We've been encouraging GRBRIA members to facilities to invest in workforce development programs that not only include recruitment, but also assessment, training, career path development, and retention. Right, Tim? Retention? Big thing, right? Hanging on to them once you've spent all that time and effort training them, hanging on to them. To help in this endeavor, the members of our Contractor Workforce Development Committee developed the best practice called Key Tenets for Contractor Workforce Development, which was unanimously adopted by our members in 2007. And since that time, and to this point, 98% of our member companies have signed on to having craftspeople. Since that time, the number of plants requiring craft certification for their A craftspeople has steadily grown, and now 98% require certified A mechanics. And this has been verified by the benchmarking process a part of these awards tonight. This is quite a bit different than 10 years ago, when we were really just trying to decide how we were going to address this issue. So please review the key tenets and the GRBRIA definition of a certified craftsperson located in your program.
We would like to recognize workforce development champions who have taken valuable time from their normal workdays to drive efforts and participate as volunteers with associations, state agencies, and other organizations for the benefit of all contractors, plants, and really all Louisianans. And these efforts should not go unnoticed. We would like to recognize and ask the following people to come forward to receive this special award as Cabrillo Craft Workforce Development Champion. And I'd like to ask John and Trey to help me. So, Alan Smith, Contractor Safety Specialist with BASF. Don Stewart, Manager of Health, Safety, and Environmental Sustainability with Hydrochem. Don. And Dane Chopper Bonville, Operations Manager with Capital Ultrasonics. Chopper. Next, I'd like to recognize Phyllis Mouton, the Vice Chancellor for Economic Development and Workforce Solutions. Phyllis, are you here? Yes. Phyllis Mouton has been a tireless advocate in meeting industry's educational needs. From P-Tech to skilled crafts to safety training, Phyllis actively reaches out to industry and finds solutions that have resulted in many new programs. Phyllis, thank you for all of your hard work. Amanda Stanley, Director of Skilled Craft Initiatives, Baton Rouge Community College. Amanda has helped shape the industrial maintenance program into a curriculum that truly is meeting industry's needs. When she first visited with our Contractor Workforce Development Committee, our members gave her quite an earful as to why the proposed program wasn't structured to meet their needs. But Amanda didn't give up and has developed an excellent program that meets members' needs today. Thank you, Amanda. Dr. Gerard Melanson, Executive Director for Adult, Community, and Continuing Education, Baton Rouge Community College. Dr. Melanson, when Dr. Melanson heard that Cabrillo members were interested in non-destructive testing training, he said that he would make it happen, and that he did. Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to recognize Dr. Dale Doty, River Parishes Community College. Dr. Dale Doty had barely been in his new position when he contacted me. He was interested in understanding industry's issues and needs and wanted to be sure that RPCC was doing all it could. Right away, he built a competent team who has grown P-Tech, skilled crafts, non-destructive testing training, and more. Thank you, Dr. Doty. You're off to a running start. Next, Dr. Bruce Wagasback, Vice Chancellor of Workforce Development at River Parishes Community College. As soon as Dr. Doty hired Bruce, he met the challenge of starting up a non-destructive testing program. Within weeks, he put the pieces together to offer the training and recruited the students and got them enrolled and has since graduated almost 2 classes in the last 9 months. Thank you, Bruce. Next, Patrice Pujol, Ascension Parish School Superintendent. Patrice is being recognized tonight for her outstanding efforts as a school superintendent overall and for having the vision to partner with the ABC Craft Training Center over the last several years. Ms. Pujol took the risk of doing something different for the betterment of her students, and as a result, industry is getting some outstanding young men and women right out of high school. Ms. Pujol, thank you for your vision and partnership. Next, Jimmy Sawtell, Vice President, Career and Technical Education at Louisiana Community and Technical College System. Jimmy is being recognized for his leadership in reaching out to industry to find ways to make the LCTCS system meet industry's needs. Jimmy has worked very hard to keep communications open and flowing, to address issues head on, and to implement changes. His efforts have made it possible for LCTCS to graduate, literally, folks, thousands of new graduates in skilled crafts programs in only 2 short years. Thank you, Jimmy. I know it's maybe not 2,000, but it's over 1,000, 1,500 for sure. Thank you. Next, Will Seaman, Director for Skilled Labor Initiatives, Louisiana Community and Technical College System. Will has shown a tremendous energy to implementing new skilled craft programs while he was at BRCC, as well as in his new role in the system office. Will's work is where the rubber meets the road, quite frankly, and if it were not for Will, many of the programs in place wouldn't have come to fruition. Will, thank you for all of your hard work.
What we want to talk about, we're going to be kind of brief tonight. We want to talk about craft compensation on the Gulf Coast, demand trends. Those are things that is on everybody's mind, and that's what we do. Those are. Let's see, which slide are we on here? Okay, I see. Just a little bit about us. We conduct craft, wage, and labor research. We live in those numbers every day. We're involved in that. We have a systematic method of researching the whole country, or the open shop parts of the country, and we provide almost real-time craft compensation data. Generally, that data is in the 90 days or less. So most of it's in the 30 to 60 day range. The one important thing that I wanted to share with you, in August we celebrated 15 years in business, and we owe a lot of that success that we've had to two ladies that y'all know, Hurricanes Katrina and Rita. That put us on the map as well as you guys. So, let's move along to the next slide. These are the I cannot say that, routine research regions. You try saying that fast. Routine research regions. These are the areas that we spend most of our time researching. You'll see some spots up there that aren't colored. Those are places that don't think Southern accents are charming, and so we've been asked to leave some of those states, but again, we spend the most of our time, or the majority of our time, on the Gulf Coast. We'll have some other graphics that will kind of give you some indication of that. So what are we seeing? What's coming up? This is a graph showing, it might be hard to see from the back, but your general unemployment rates compared to construction unemployment rates. What's important on this is I'm going to mess this up. This is hard to say also. The construction unemployment is already lower than at the height of the post-Katrina build cycle, okay? So we're at 7.5% now. The lowest that they recorded in that build cycle was 8%. We're very early in this build cycle to be below where we were before. I'm sure if you look back, you remember the pain that was involved in the workforce at that point. In the East, we have 60 or so projects and about 55,000 craft workers in demand. Well, let us point out that these are construction projects. This is not maintenance. This is new construction, and it's large new construction. This doesn't take into consideration smaller projects or any commercial. This is all large industrial, really from about 250 million up, way up. This is really the story, and this is what you guys are living every day. 118,000 workers in demand, 103 projects, again, all new projects, and this is a 24% increase over what we shared with you last year. So we have seen projects just continue and continue, large project announcements, and they just have kept coming, even up until the last week or so. We've seen major project announcements. So, and one thing we wanted to point out, really from Corpus Christi to Baton Rouge is just it's just going to be a wild ride from a workforce availability and construction standpoint.
Let's talk a little bit about workforce development. I'm going to say some things to you tonight that I'm sure you're probably pretty familiar with, things that you've heard before, but I want to try to drive home some points that I think will make sense. Look at this slide. Try to get your mind around this. The Brookings Institute about 3 years ago did a study that said globally, only half of what will be the built environment, that means everything on Earth that's been built in the year 2030, existed in the year 2010. Try to think about that for a minute. That's hard to imagine, isn't it? But when you think about emerging economies all over the world, in China and other places, you begin to get a sense that the demand for construction craft workers, skilled craft professionals, is not just a demand we're going to see in South Louisiana or along the Gulf Coast or in the United States. It will be a worldwide demand, and I can tell you that South Louisiana will be a place where people come from all over the world to look for these craft professionals. So we better be prepared. Here's another issue that we face. The percentage of the population in the United States that's below the age of 18 is shrinking every day. So our workforce, our potential workforce, is getting smaller. And that portion of the population that is above 65 is growing every day. So we're getting a smaller and smaller pool from which we can choose, recruit, and train the next generation of craft professionals in our state and in our country, for that matter. Here's another thing. Culturally, we've gotten it wrong for a long, long time. Over the last 25 years, we've created a culture that says unless you go to the university to get your training, somehow you are less successful. But look at the slide to the right, the top line on the right. Only about 20% of the jobs that exist in the U.S. economy require a 4-year college degree. Yet we push everyone in that direction. I'm going to tell you a story about that a little bit later. But we've got to realign our priorities. I know my friend Dr. Monty Sullivan's in the room somewhere, Jimmy Sawtell, Will Seaman, all the folks from the Louisiana Community and Technical College System, Dr. Doty, Phyllis Mouton, all of those folks understand clearly that the 4-year university is not the only path to success. And we'll talk more about that as we go along. So I'm going to stop and tell you a story. All these statistics that we see, do we have a problem? Well, we've got a challenge. We've got an opportunity. So I'm going to tell this from my friend Boo Reagan, who is the only Alabama football fan that I actually like. Where is Boo? There he is. Okay. This is for you, buddy. The story goes, and I actually went online to try to do some research today to try to validate it, and I couldn't. But I've been telling it like it's true for a long, long time, so just, go along with me here. The story says that Alabama in the mid-'60s is playing Auburn the last game of the year in the Iron Bowl. And Bear Bryant's on the sidelines, and there's about 10 seconds left in the game. Alabama's got the ball. They're up by 5, and they're driving. They're on the Auburn 20-yard line. Auburn calls their last time out. Quarterback trots over to Bear Bryant, and Bear says, "Son, we got it. Just go back out there and kneel on the ball. Clock will run out. We win the SEC championship. We're on to the Sugar Bowl, and we got a chance to win the national championship." So the quarterback runs back out there, gets under center, and he notices that Auburn's put all 11 guys at the line of scrimmage. And, their only chance is to try to force a fumble. So the quarterback thinks, if I call an audible here, we get a wide receiver in the end zone, we'll win this game by 12 and it'll look better. So he throws the pass. Well, Auburn had a world-class sprinter at defensive back who ran the ball down, intercepted it in the end zone, and headed back up the field. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. And on the 5-yard line, as the clock ran out, the Alabama quarterback took the angle on him and tackled him. Bear Bryant meets legendary coach from Auburn at the time. In fact, the stadium's named after him, Shug Jordan. They meet at midfield. And Shug looks at the Bear and he says, "Bear, I got one question. How in the world did your boy catch my boy?" He says, "Shug, it's very simple. Your boy was running for a touchdown. My boy was running for his life." So are we running for our lives? Here's what we've got in Louisiana. It's a historic demand for industrial craft workers, for construction craft professionals, as I like to call them. Depending on what you read, we've got somewhere between $60 and $80 billion worth of announced work. You saw the slide that Dennis and Deb just put up here, what it looks like along the Gulf Coast. It almost looks like some sort of disease is going on. What we know is we've got a baseline of about 100,000 craft professionals in this state, and to do the work that's just been announced, and if you talk to Stephen Moray and others, they'll tell you, if you think there's been a lot announced now, just wait to see what's coming over the next 18 months. So $60 to $80 billion worth of announced work. We think we'll need at least another 35,000 full-time equivalents to meet that demand. And because of attrition issues within the industry, we think we're going to have to recruit and train 86,000 new construction craft professionals in Louisiana. Now, how are we going to get that done? It's not going to be easy. But look at this slide, and this comes courtesy of my friend Monty Sullivan at the Louisiana Community and Technical College System. He and I talked about this in his office yesterday. If we think that we've done the wrong thing, and look, I'm an LSU grad, a lot of you in this room are college graduates. We're not saying that going to the four-year university is a bad thing at all. But what we're saying is we ought to recognize where the demand is. They're talking about 14,000 Tier 1 opportunities, Tier 1 job opportunities in Louisiana every year. 85% of that demand, and for some reason it's not coming out on the slide, but you can see of that 14,000 that the four-year demand is going to be just over 2,000, but the two-year demand, that's two-year degrees and industry-based certifications, 12,000 a year. And so I'm going to ask you a simple question to ponder. You don't have to answer it tonight, but it's something that I want you to think about over the course of the next year. As the ABC chapters, who do a great job, work with the community and technical college systems who are doing a constantly improving job to train craft workers in our state, are we funding them appropriately? Are we putting our resources in the correct place? Look at this slide. Well, there's the 85%. It popped up there. Look at this slide. Look at the second graph, the third, and the last. Construction jobs, electricians, and welders. And that's the current output and the demand output. And you can see for construction workers, we're only putting out about half that we need. Now, part of that's a function of recruiting, but certainly part of that is a function of resources. We ought to be clear about the fact that it costs more to train a welder than it does to give somebody a liberal arts degree, right? And we need to make sure that our allocation of resources is appropriate as we go forward. I suspect you're going to be hearing more about this over the course of the next year or so. The demand nationwide is about 2 million, okay, between now and 2017. We had about 7 million workers in the construction industry nationwide total at the downturn of the economy in late 2007 and 2008. We lost about 2 million. We don't know how many of those are coming back, but we know we're going to at least need that many as we come out of and through the recovery. We also have an aging workforce in the construction industry. About 17% are going to be eligible to retire within the next 5 years. I quite frankly think the number's higher, because if you think about attrition issues, we're going to lose a whole lot more than that, and we know it. So we talk at the TJC group about workforce development in basically 4 buckets. And if you're going to do it comprehensively, you have to do all 4 of these. We've got to be able to accurately forecast demand and supply. And we got to know what the delta is. And then we've got to do career awareness and recruiting specific to those needs. You know, when I got in this business 20 years ago and worked with people like Al Vargas and folks at ABC, we just recruited anybody that wanted to come. And we'd say, get in any program you want to get into. And we'd get them to the end of it. We'd sort of pat them on the rear end and say, good luck to you. We can't afford to do that anymore. We've got to know how many pipe fitters we're going to need in the greater Baton Rouge area. And we've got to recruit and train specific to that need. Glenn Redd will tell you we need to know how many electricians we need in this area. And we got to recruit and train specific to that need. Then once we know and we recruit them, we've got to put them in world-class training programs that offer industry-based certifications. NCCER accredited programs, ABC chapters, community and technical colleges all over the state. And then we also have to focus on something that I think is critically important, and that's skill upgrade. Because here's the thing we're not paying enough attention to in my mind. We keep talking about the fact that we need to recruit and train 86,000 new workers, but we don't talk about the fact that we've already got a base of 100,000 who have chosen to be in the industry already. We don't have to recruit them. And if we can upgrade the skills of that existing workforce and improve their productivity by 10 to 15% over a range of factors, we solve a lot of our problem with ever spending a dime recruiting anyone new.
Participating in these awards is helping members and contractors gain a better understanding of the industrial craft workforce development efforts in the Greater Baton Rouge area. And also in making the companies understand, where are the 7 cents per hour that we've been donating for many years as companies, and how that money is being utilized. 2014 marks the third year that our awards nominations were submitted via an electronic online application process, and that our program is servicing as a benchmark program.
I'd like to now share some of the key findings from this year's benchmarking process. Overall, we were very impressed with the improvements and the efforts made by the contractors who participated. Some significant improvements include assessments, tracking, craft skill advancements, as well as some very structured foreman and supervision leadership training. Some of the areas that we found that needed some improvement were not having an outlined document regarding workforce development policies and procedures. And during the interviews, we found that the majority of the companies were doing it, but they didn't actually have it documented. But again, overall, the committee was very impressed with the improvements made from last year and are looking forward to the ones that will be made for next year. Following are some of the key findings from the data. In this slide, you can see that the respondents believe workforce development has a significant impact on safety, productivity, quality, and to a lesser extent, turnover and absenteeism. Now, 98% of the GBRIA members require skilled craft certifications, and some require proof as part of the contract employee gate entry. Retention is always a key concern, and in this slide, you can see that pay and benefits are important as expected, but recognition is as well. The entire report with many more interesting findings can be found on the GBRIA website. And now Kelly will continue with our awards.
For the 2014 Craft Workforce Development Excellence Awards are being presented to qualified recipients in the following 4 categories for their performance in 2013. Construction and maintenance general contractors, the first group. Construction and maintenance specialty trade contractors with soft crafts. Construction maintenance specialty contractors in hard crafts, and technical support contractors. In each category, awards will be presented based on company size according to the actual hours worked company-wide. Nominees are categorized as Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3 companies, and we tried to make the breaks based on how the size of the company and how they kind of broke out whenever we collected the data of similar sized nominees. The criteria used to evaluate the companies for these awards are the nomination letter submitted by GBRIA member and by the contractor company themselves, the nomination form, which includes a written summary of the unique or special qualities of the contractor's workforce development program, an audit of the contractor's workforce development efforts conducted by Trey and the GBRIA committee made up of members and owners. In making the selections, we assembled a committee made up of GBRIA members who reviewed evaluated each company relative to the nomination criteria and selected award levels based on the consensus decision of the group. For this year, the Craft Workforce Development Award Selection Committee members are Mike Albano from Dow Chemical, Mike Como from ExxonMobil, Bert Danton from Mexichem Flora, James Watkins from Dow Chemical, Glenn Vickner from Motiva Enterprises, Charlie Freebird from Axial Corporation, Steve Welch from Occidental Chemical, and Brenda McDonald from Syngenta. I'd like to thank all the members of our committee who spent a lot of time going through the different nomination forms and sorting through all the data for their effort during this important process. In addition to the selection committee, we have many individuals who contributed their time and effort to developing the criteria in this program, and I would like to thank all of our volunteers who helped GBRIA in this lengthy process. The awards presented in each category include an award of excellence, an award of merit, and an award of recognition for their these are awarded to each of the companies for their outstanding accomplishments. We recognize that even to be nominated means that your company has demonstrated a commitment to the effort of workforce development, and the selection of different award levels took careful consideration of many factors that I just described, and we really found that almost all the companies had great things about each company, and it's really a very difficult selection process to go through and pick out the winners, so I'm really thankful for all the companies who participated in this year's awards presentations.
We'll now announce categories and nominees. Audience, please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced in each category. In the construction and maintenance general contractors, we have award recipients in 3 categories. Those who are Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3 company sizes. This year, no companies fell into our Division 1 category. So in our general construction and maintenance Division 2 categories, the following companies were nominated. Excel, self-nominated. James Construction Group was also self-nominated. And Repcon, nominated by Air Products and Motiva Enterprises. Please, when your award is announced, please send recipients up to receive your award. And receiving this year's award of recognition is James Construction Group. Congratulations. Also receiving the award of recognition is Repcon. Congratulations, Repcon. Receiving this year's award of merit is Excel. Congratulations, Excel. Okay, and moving on into our general construction and maintenance Division 3 category, the following companies were nominated. CB&I, nominated by Mexican Floor and Placid Refining. Jacobs Field Services North America, nominated by the Dow Chemical Company, Louisiana Operations. Performance Contractors, nominated by CF Industries and Rubicon. And Turner Industries Group, nominated by the Dow Chemical Company, Louisiana Operations, ExxonMobil, Formosa Plastics, Motiva Enterprises, and Shell Chemical. And this year's award of merit goes to Jacobs Field Services. Congratulations. Also receiving the award of merit is CB&I. Congratulations, CB&I. And receiving the award of excellence in the general construction and maintenance Division 3 category is Performance Contractors. Congratulations, Performance. Also receiving the award of excellence in the general construction and maintenance Division 3 category is Turner Industries Group. Congratulations, Turner. Okay, moving on to our specialty trades Softcraft Division 1 category, the following were nominated. Global Industrial Contractors, self-nominated. Maintenance Protection Systems, nominated by Formosa Plastics. Star Services, nominated by Motiva Enterprises. And Veolia Environmental Services, nominated by the Dow Chemical Company, Louisiana Operations. And the following 3 companies received this year's award of recognition. Maintenance Protection Systems, congratulations. Also receiving recognition this year is Star Services. Congratulations, Star Services. This year's 3rd company receiving the award of recognition is Veolia Environmental Services. Congratulations, Veolia. Receiving this year's award of merit goes to Global Industrial Contractors. Congratulations, Global. In the category of Specialty Trades Softcraft Contractors Division 3 category, the following companies were nominated. Brand Energy Solutions, nominated by ExxonMobil and Formosa Plastics. The Brock Group, nominated by ExxonMobil, Motiva Enterprises, and Shell Chemical. Hydrochem, nominated by BASF and Rubicon. United States Environmental Services, nominated by Motiva Enterprises. The following 3 companies are receiving this year's award of merit. Brand Energy Solutions. Congratulations, Brand. Also receiving the Award of Merit, the Brock Group. Congratulations, Brock. Also receiving this year's Award of Merit is HydroChem. Congratulations, HydroChem. And receiving this year's Award of Excellence in the Specialty Trades Soft Craft Division III category is United States Environmental Services. Congratulations, USES. Our next category is the Specialty Trades Hard Craft Contractors. In this category, we did not have any companies that fell into our Division I group. So in our Specialty Trades Hard Craft Division II category, the following companies were nominated. Triad Electric and Controls, nominated by Marathon Petroleum and Motiva Enterprises. Vector Electric and Controls, nominated by Formosa Plastics. And Westgate, nominated by the Dow Chemical Company, Louisiana Operations. And receiving this year's Award of Recognition is Westgate. Congratulations, Westgate. Receiving this year's Award of Merit is Vector Electric and Controls. Congratulations, Vector. Also receiving the Award of Merit is Triad Electric and Controls. Congratulations, Triad. Next, in our Specialty Trades Hard Craft Division III category, the following companies were nominated. ISC Constructors, nominated by ExxonMobil, Motiva Enterprises, and Shell Chemical. Pala Interstate, nominated by ExxonMobil, Motiva Enterprises, and Shell Chemical. And Turner Specialty Services, nominated by ExxonMobil and Shell Chemical. And receiving this year's Award of Merit goes to Pala Interstate. Congratulations, Pala. And receiving this year's Award of Excellence goes to ISC Constructors. Congratulations, ISC. Also receiving the Award of Excellence in the Specialty Trades Hard Craft Division III category is Turner Specialty Services. Congratulations, Turner. Our final category is our technical support contractors. This year, all technical support contractors fell into our Division II group. In the Technical Support Division II category, the following companies were nominated. Accurate Inspection, nominated by Motiva Enterprises. Capital Ultrasonics, nominated by ExxonMobil and Motiva Enterprises. And GE Water and Process Technologies, nominated by ExxonMobil. And Industrial Emergency Services, nominated by Motiva Enterprises. And this year's Award of Recognition goes to Accurate Inspection. Congratulations, Accurate. Receiving this year's Award of Merit is Industrial Emergency Services. Congratulations, IES. Also receiving the Award of Merit is GE Water and Process Technologies. Congratulations, GE. And this year's Award of Excellence in the Division II Technical Support category goes to Capital Ultrasonics. Congratulations, Capital. And now at this time, we have just two more awards to be given. Our Contractor Workforce Development Committee decided that it would be fitting to award a Gabria member company and one committee member who has demonstrated over and above efforts towards craft workforce development with Most Valuable Player Awards. These are the Gabria Craft Workforce Development's Most Valuable Plant and Player Awards. This year, we have two Most Valuable Plants. The efforts by these companies in craft workforce development have truly been of a champion nature, and I'm excited to announce that BASF and Dow Chemical are both this year's winners. These companies have shown extraordinary commitment to craft workforce development. BASF has provided a strong commitment to the Louisiana and its workforce through many ways. However, a few examples include their $1 million pledge to the Louisiana State University College of Engineering, $10,000 in scholarships, involvement in steering of not only Gabria, but also the Baton Rouge Area Chamber's workforce efforts, the Louisiana Workforce Commission efforts, and just recently finding a home for the Career Academy so it can continue with this important mission. Thank you, BASF, for all that you do. The Dow Chemical Company began investing in the LCTCS systems several years ago with a $1 million donation to build a facility on the west side, and from there, their involvement has just increased. Most recently, Dow sponsored the Women in Welding program, and there are many more examples. Thank you, Dow Chemical, for your many efforts. And for all these efforts, and for the steadfast support of Gabria and its craft workforce development efforts, we are proud to present you with this award. Congratulations. And now for our last award, we would like to also give a special individual award to a member who took the time out of his or her normal job duties to write many nomination letters for the contractors that had solid workforce development programs. Now, this takes a lot of time, and we appreciate everyone who took the time out of their schedule to not only nominate the companies, but also assist with the interviews. The Individual Recognition Award for the Gabria Craft Workforce Development Most Valuable Player goes to Glenn Vicknair with Motiva Enterprises.
This group just amazes me. The people in this room have done an unbelievable job over the last several years getting the workforce in Louisiana ready. Everywhere I look around, I see things that 2 years ago did not exist. Close to our own plant near Plaquemine, in Plaquemine, there's a West Side Technical Campus that's slap full with 200 students, where 2 years ago, zero. There was nothing there. If I look at, the examples from all over the Baton Rouge Community College system or all over the LCTCS system, if I look at ABC, that again today has hundreds more students than they had just a couple of years ago, betting on a come, as we say in the gambling world, right? Knowing the work that was coming and making the investment up front to say, let's go ahead and train the workforce. Let's do something. Let's not just talk. Everybody in this room has done that and has demonstrated that to me. Wow. Willing to act, saying, we see what's coming. We're going to make a difference. In high schools, we see so many programs that weren't there before. I'm going to just recognize a few by group. We talked earlier, we heard about the partnership, public and private sectors. Louisiana Workforce Commission has done so much, been so responsive. LCTCS, it's beyond description how much they have done, how much they have grown. Baton Rouge Community College, specifically locally. Every contractor company that was awarded tonight, everyone that's working together through ICC, working in their own individual areas. The industrial facilities, we've heard so many of their names called out tonight that have made these investments, that are bringing apprentices on, that are bringing helpers on to help give people opportunity to learn. ABC, I talked about earlier, phenomenal. The school districts, as I say, it's just amazing where they come and say, we want to help our students out. How can they get involved? How can they help? The Alliance Safety Council has been a huge partner of ours. NCCER, Build Your Future, all those other groups that I'm not even remembering this evening. Every one of you has worked together, has worked tirelessly, and has worked selflessly. How many times have I seen companies that are sometimes in competition and they don't even ask? It's what can I do? How can I share? Holding hands, working together. Because at the end of the day, all of us in this room were put here for today, for this mission, because this is our historical opportunity to forever change the state of Louisiana. The people that get the craft training today will have craft training for the rest of their lives through these builds and through everything that is to come. This is a historical moment, and it would have been lost if it weren't for you. So is there a lot more work to do? Oh yeah, but if I project what's been done over the last 2 years, and we just keep that exponential curve going, we're going to do it. We're going to change this state. You're doing it now. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Well, if you want more information about what's going on with the state, you can go to the Louisiana Workforce Commission's website. There's a lot of information there. Of course, my firm does a lot of work in workforce development as well. My firm is called the TJC Group, and our website is www.thetjcgroup.com.
And where can people get more information?
You can go to www.gbria.org.